Is this muted? You're welcome, Paul. Okay, for sessions right now, right? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to NewYorkRedBulls.com for this USL matchup, a primetime matchup between the number 2 and number 3 teams in the East. New York Red Bulls 2 at 11-8-6, hosting the darlings of USL, Louisville City FC, coming into this one at 14-5-6. I'm David Goss. Thanks so much for joining us here in Harrison, New Jersey at Red Bull Arena for what should be a high-flying end-to-end match. The number 1 offensive team in the league, Louisville City FC, coming in here 9 points ahead of the New York Red Bulls 2 with 3 games left to play. These two teams fighting for potential to host each other in the second round of the USL playoffs, and they come out on the field. It's been an exciting day here, Red Bull Arena. We'll tell you all about it as we get into the broadcast. New York, a very similar lineup to what they've put out there over the last few weeks. They've been flying over the last few games, getting a victory last week against Wilmington. Louisville clinching their playoffs with a midweek victory at home over Harrisburg City Islanders, their last home game of the regular season as they begin a 3-game road trip to close out their first season in USL. We're going to go down for our national anthems and return here with starting lineups and all of your first half action on NewYorkRedBulls.com. You see the fans out here ready to go for this matchup, and we are ready as well. And let's look at the starting lineups. Coach James O'Connor, his first year as a head coach in this first season for Louisville City. In goal, as it's been every single game, Scott Goodwin, third in the league in saves. Along the back line, Brian Burke, Tariq Murad, Aiden Quinn, as well as Connor Shansky in the midfield. Juan Guzman, as well as, Aiden Quinn. Guy Abend at left midfield. Ilya Illich as well in the midfield as Enrique McCabe. And up top, number 9, Matt Fondy, the #1 goal scorer in the history of single seasons in USL. Put down that stamp in the midweek. In your lineup for New York across the back line, Colin Heffron, Conrad Pleva, Mike DeFont, and Sean McLaws in front of Santiago Castaño, who is 4th in USL in saves. Boluak Yode and Speedy Williams in holding midfield. Marius Obakop, Leo Stoltz, and Manolo Sanchez across the attacking line. And up top, Stefano Bonomo maintains his spot in that center forward role, coming into this team a little bit late as a midseason acquisition, 2 goals and an assist in just 6 appearances. He has been an impact player for Coach Wolnick, and he maintains his spot here tonight. We are ready to get started. Louisville in their purples, playing against New York Red Bulls 2 in their home whites. See Santiago Castaño, I mentioned, 4th in the league in saves. Scott Goodwin, 3rd in the league. But Scott Goodwin has been a rock out of UNC in this Orlando City back line. Our head official tonight, Hilario Grajeda. Our assistant referees, Ash Camel and Ben Pilgrim. Our 4th official, Jaime Herrera. And we are off and ready to go. A battle between number 2 and number 3, potential playoff preview here. Louisville City and New York Red Bulls 2 match up for the 2nd time ever. These 2 teams both in their expansion season. The first matchup, New York Red Bulls 2 knocked off Louisville City in Louisville 2-0. Goals then from Conrad Pleva and Derek Etienne. Etienne no longer with the team, heading out to University of Virginia to play college ball, facing off actually this weekend against Juan Sebastian Sanchez, another New York Red Bulls 2 player at Tulsa. A 1-1 draw there. Etienne putting in 110 minutes for the defending champions. Free kick coming here. Left-footed service, headed away. Williams with the 2nd win. Pleva here playing at center back, played in center mid last time they faced off against Louisville. He got himself the goal for Louisville. They clinched a playoff spot in the last game, potentially clinch 2nd place with a win tonight if the right results go their way. What a night it is in USL. Orange City Blues facing off against LA Galaxy 2. A phenomenal matchup out west. Richmond against Rochester in the east, as well as Pittsburgh in 7th place, a point out of the playoffs, facing off against Charleston, who are tied for 3rd right now with New York. Ball curled in, alive in the box. Font with a knockdown, still alive. And the last deflection going out off of New York and out for a corner kick. Louisville City 2nd in the USL in shots taken per game, a high offense team. Montano, Enrique Montano here, starting defender. The corner kick service once again. Initial header won by Sanchez. Speedy Williams can't get it any farther. New York with every player on the field behind the ball. No outlet if they are able to win it. They get a throw in deep on that right side. Sean McLaws, Manolo Sanchez, Leo Stoltz As well as Marius Obacop and Santiago Castaño loaned down from the MLS team for this game. Stoltz here in that midfield role, laying it in front of Sanchez, and Goodwin comes flying out of his box. Makes the key tackle at the last second. Well read there by the Tar Heel. National champion at UNC. Played professionally a little bit in Iceland as well as with the Carolina Railhawks before signing up with Louisville. Louisville, you have to say, one of the most exciting stories in the league this year. Orlando City helped launch them as Orlando moved from USL to MLS. Louisville took their USL spot, have come in. They are averaging the second highest attendance in the league. Currently in second place in the East with the all-time single-season leading goal scorer. So you can say it's been a good year so far. Heffron looking to fight for a corner kick, and he wins one there. Leo Stoltz will take. Floated in, still alive in the box. Cleared by Orlando. Orlando now potentially a chance to break. McClaws puts it out. Sorry, excuse me, Louisville. Saw the purple, was talking about Orlando. My apologies there. New York defensively is going to be a key here tonight. They know that. I said highest scoring team in the league. Louisville hasn't lost a game that they've scored in this season. So when they can find the back of the net, they have been absolutely ruthless. They lost last week to Pittsburgh 1-0. At the time, they stood 6 points in front of New York. You thought maybe New York would have a shot at chasing them for second place, and then Louisville comes out in the middle of the week, and Matt Fondy puts up a hat trick in 20 minutes, all before the 40th minute. This cross comes in to set the goal-scoring record. Daniel Koenig at Oklahoma City had tied it the weekend before at 20 with Kevin Molino of Orlando City. That time I meant to say it. Daniel Koenig still sitting on 20 as of now. Rob Vincent in Pittsburgh sitting on 18, but he's got an injury. He won't be playing today. Matt Fondy with that hat trick, breaking the record and taking the lead for Golden Boot this year. What a special season it has been around USL. Oklahoma City sitting in first place in the West, thanks to the goal scoring of Koenig. High pressure here from New York, as you expect. Fondy here, the perfect outlet, though, for that pressure. He's got help coming up behind him. Had McQuaid. Instead drops it in to midfield. Burke playing it back, putting his center back under pressure there. Bonomo, third round super draft pick in the last draft by New York, went to Europe, trialed with a few teams, trying to find a place, didn't, came back to New York, and has had a fantastic start to his New York Red Bulls 2 career. Akinyode taken down in the box. A little bit of trickery from him. The Israeli guy, Abend, called for the foul. Heffron will have license to push forward into the attack, as does McClaws. Mike DeFont coming back in. Carl Ouimet starting the last game for New York Red Bulls 2 at center back, but he's off with the Canadian national team, picking up a crucial 3-0 victory over Belize last night in the first leg of a 2-leg knockout to try and get to the 4th round of CONCACAF qualifying. Leo Stoltz here to Obakop. Obakop takes on one. Lays it into the middle. Sanchez has space to shoot. And that shot deflected off Montano. Manolo Sanchez there. A great feed from Obakop. Has the opportunity to open up his hips onto his right foot. Looking to curl it to that far post. Don't know if Scott Goodwin would have had it covered. But deflected off of Montano and out of bounds. Enrique Montano in his 2nd professional soccer season. Leo Stoltz plays it in. Still alive in the box. Now Louisville able to clear. Heffron, the only Red Bull player back to defend it. He's able to maintain possession, and now all the way back to the young New York Red Bull homegrown signing, Santiago Castaño. This the last home game of the regular season for New York. Obakop picking that one up. New York would love to leave on a high note their last 2 games at FC Montreal and league leaders Rochester Rhinos. Marius Obakop here off the feet from Bonomo. The shot saved by Goodwin. What a save from Scott Goodwin. Obakop shot, he did not, you can't imagine he saw it for very long. Sneaking out from behind a defender. The feed as well from Bonomo was well done. And this is what you'd expect from New York. They scored early in Louisville. It allowed them to gain some control of the game. You want to try and hit this high offensive team in the mouth if you can early, because you absolutely know Louisville, when they get their chances, will take advantage. These 2 teams hyped. You got to think for this game, pushed from 4:30 to an 8:30 p.m. kickoff here because of a friendly before between the Brazilian national team and Costa Rica. And when Louisville showed up to go into their locker rooms as the New York Red Bulls 2 players, the Brazilian national team was coming out and doing their media. A few of the Orlando players got selfies with David Luiz and Hulk. Leo Stoltz and Colin Heffron were reaching up over the media to take pictures of Neymar as he was doing his interviews. So they got to rub shoulders a little bit with some Giants. We hope that some of that juice may be still on the field. You can see that level of excitement and magnetism being around players like that cause, even for guys playing at that professional level. Costa Rica just announcing that on October 13th, they'll have another friendly here at Red Bull Arena. That one against the United States national team. Don't forget to visit the new USLsoccer.com, get the latest news, live stats, and check out the new social media hub. That's USLsoccer.com. You can also become a fan of the USL on Facebook for exclusive league news and interactive content. It's USL on Facebook. As we come down the home stretch, 3 weeks left in the regular season before the playoffs begin. Top 2 seeds in either conference will get a first-round bye. 3 host 6, 4 host 5, and a 1-game knockout playoff. The winners of those then head to the top 2 seeds to play on the road in a 1-game knockout game as well. The highest seed remaining hosts the conference finals, and then the USL Championship last season won at Bonnie Field in Sacramento by Sacramento Republic FC in their first season of the Harrisburg City Islanders. Who will it be this year? The Rochester Rhinos on the verge of setting a shutout record, running away at first place in the league. You got to think one of the heavy favorites. New York Red Bulls 2 will get to test themselves there on the last week of the regular season at Salin Stadium. Rochester Rhinos on 53 points. The East spaced out at top, packed though in the playoff fight. Charlotte Independence currently hold the last spot in the playoffs on 36 points with 24 games played. Pittsburgh Riverhounds are on 35 points with 24 games played. And the New York Red Bull Sioux on 39 points at 25 games played are in third place. So those 5 places separated by just 4 points, everyone within a game equally of games played, and so a lot left to play for. Everyone facing off against each other as well to close it out. Really nothing you can predict right now. Outside of Rochester, no one knows if they'll be home or away or if they'll be even in the playoffs. Louisville does. They clinched a playoff spot, looking to clinch home field advantage as well in the second round, and still an opportunity for them to try and catch Rochester. Down the wing here is Burke. Burke's got space, crosses early, but the mistake on the clearance, and Castano with the huge save right in front of his supporters section. Santiago Castano coming to the rescue of his teammates. Brian Burke flying down that right wing. Looked like Mike DeFont had it played perfectly before tripping somewhat over his own feet. And Ilya Ilic, the Serbian who scored in the last game against Harrisburg, saved at his feet. Opportunity now. This ball coming back across the box. Still in possession by Louisville, and Mike DeFont, I think, making up a little bit for his mistake before there, stealing it off the feet of Montano. Burke gets it wide to McCabe. McCabe puts it through the legs of Heffron. Gorgeous move from him. Heffron forced to use his hands there to hold him up. Grajeda saying he understands the complaint, called the foul, no card coming. Matt Fondy on the far post looking to see if he could get an early ball wide open for a second. Quinn with the ball played in. Taken easily in the end by Castano. Aiden Quinn, son of former U.S. men's national team player Brian Quinn, who had 48 caps in his 4-year U.S. men's national team career. Also head coach of the San Jose Clash for 2 years in Major League Soccer. Pleva with the interception. These two teams, you see some similarities when on the ball, pushing numbers forward, high pressing to try and force an early mistake before the other team can clear. Williams looking for options, not happy with the movement of his teammates right now. Gets by Fondy. Speedy Williams has done that since he came on this team. He never overcomplicates the play, but he always gets himself out of trouble, it feels like. Manolo Sanchez up the wing. He looks to cross. Cleared away easily, it looks like, by Shanaski there. Connor Shanaski, of course. Former DC United homegrown player. And therefore, I think, considered enemy to all New York Red Bulls fans, as well as New York Red Bull 2 fans. Good cut work there from Matano. Great battle right now individually between a lot of these matchups. These two teams going after each other. You see the high level of skill. And these are two teams started the year a little bit slow, but both brand new rosters, and they have just gelled so well. After New York knocked off Louisville earlier in the year, Louisville ran off a stretch of about 6 straight wins. New York as well coming to this game at a 5-1-2 over their last 8 games. Both these teams peaking at exactly the right time. See individuals getting more comfortable with the USL level and style of play, as well as the teams starting to gel. You have to say James O'Connor coming off the clinching win, and this now their 3rd game in 7 days. choosing to rest a few players in this one. Magnus Rasmussen, who's got 8 goals and 4 assists this season. He's not starting and not in the 18 today. Kadeem DeCray, a Rosedale, New York native, not in it as well. Manolo Sanchez there gets guided off the ball. DeCray has 6 goals, 2 assists on the bench here tonight. So some starters and some firepower out of the lineup today. Montano's been an offensive outlet down the wing. He finds Fondi onside. Fondi there with the shot. Easily taken in the end by Castano. Matt Fondi, guy who knows how to find his openings. Played with the Chicago Fire last season. Was out in LA with the now defunct Chivas USA 2 years ago. Was the second leading goal scorer on the LA Blues in USL the season before that. Played in here is McCabe. McCabe with the finish. Matt Fondi sets him up, and Niall McCabe making no mistake there. His 3rd goal of the season coming in the 20th minute. Now Matt Fondi picking up his 6th goal. Perfectly worked, and McCabe has given Heffron nightmares on that right side. McCabe gets behind him. There's nothing Castano can do about that one after he made a big save just moments ago. In Louisville City, we said it, has not lost the game this season that they scored in. And they look like they might be on their way to a huge road victory. We get official confirmation. The 19th minute is that goal. McCabe with a big strike to give Louisville City the opening. We've seen good chances both ways. Imperative for both these teams to score the opening goal here tonight. Louisville, that's their first goal versus New York Red Bulls 2 ever. That's a little piece of trivia you can potentially use sometime in the future, although I'm not sure where. If you ever see me walking down the street and you quiz me on that, I will give you a donut if I lose. So that's the use. See how Louisville plays it now. Not a team that really likes to slow up if they don't have to. Kaya Bend here in the midfield. DeFont feels like he got fouled. No call made. Louisville playing through it. Illich. Mike DeFont there with the crucial interception. Otherwise, Fondi was gone 2 or 3 times. Fondi has found himself in great openings. Man, is the all-time leading goal scorer in a single season in USL history. You have to know where he is at all times. Obakop trying to find an opening. It gets poked away by Burke, who disagrees. Goes out for a corner kick. Burke thinks Obakop dribbled it out of bounds. James O'Connor and his assistants talking to the 4th official, Jaime Herrera. Leo Stoltz, the ball played in up top. No one able to make contact with it. Orlando clears. Louisville clears. Apologize once again. Ball over the top. Akinyode with the high pressure. And the foul is eventually called. Don't forget New York Red Bulls Major League Soccer returning to action this Friday night against the Chicago Fire, looking for a little revenge there. For tickets and more information, log on to NewYorkRedBulls.com or call 1-877-727-6223 today for ticket information. You can follow at New York Red Bulls 2 on Twitter and Facebook at NYRB2. Join the conversation for this match on social media using the hashtag NYTheLOU. Heffron not able to bring that one down. Colin Heffron having some struggles with the goal scorer here, McCabe. Good learning experience for him. It's a top-notch winger. Bonomo holds it up. Stoltz, first touch a little bit long. Akinyode able to keep it for New York. Numbers starting to sneak forward. Louisville defending with all but one player. Williams trying to lay it off for McClaws. His cross blocked and then goes off of him and out for a Louisville throw-in. Burke's pass, wayward. Pleva trying to push it immediately back the other way. Manolo Sanchez coming off a goal last week, the game winner against Wilmington in the first half there. Stoltz with the shot. The left-footed strike sailing wide of that far post. It has so pleasantly cooled off. The humidity has dropped. Perfect playing conditions for this one as the USL season falls into October and eventually the championship being in November. Might get a little bit cooler, but Manolo Sanchez, he stays hot. His second goal of the week, and he ties it up 1-1 with Louisville. Sean McClaws whips that cross in. Looked like Stefano Bonomo got a touch. See if he gets an assist. Manolo Sanchez coming off that right wing does a great job floating in to the center of the field, making himself an additional forward to get on the end of McClaw's cross. And Manolo Sanchez, I said, game winner opening goal against Wilmington last week, and he gets the tying goal this week against Louisville, and Coach Wolnick has to love the response from his guys. Louisville dominating offensively. They get the goal, and they haven't had a lot of possession since then. Don't forget to follow at USL on Twitter. Become a League Insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. That's at USL on Twitter. Fans absolutely loving it. Manolo Sanchez, super draft pick this year out of Clemson. Got a huge college football victory today. He was happy about it as he came into the stadium. And he continues his fine form. And you have to say all of the new professionals on this team, guys who hadn't played in the pro game before, have started to just look more and more comfortable. Leo Stoltz has taken on more and more of a role on this team. Manolo Sanchez heating up. Sean McClaws, another draft pick out of Coastal Carolina. Burke here floats it in. Deflected away. Matt Fondy was offside, so he steps away from the play. Abend keeping it alive. Fondy with this snap header down. Easily taken by Castaño. Not a dangerous header from Fondy, but you don't want to give that guy openings. New York, unless they get to the USL Championship and face Oklahoma City, cannot face Daniel Koenig. They face off against Rob Vincent a couple of times, all extremely high-scoring affairs, but Vincent a different player, more of a winger or a third forward in a 4-3-3, not that center forward running between the center backs like you have here with Fondi. Bonomo goes to ground, able to keep some sort of possession. Coach Wolenek, when asked about him in an interview a while ago, talking about Bonomo, really likes the way he's settling in. He's got that big frame, but he's got great feet, sees the game well. Likes all those attributes that he brings to the team. Bolo Akinyode out South Orange, New Jersey at Seton Hall's home opener last night. They unfortunately dropped on a last-second goal to Ryder, and so he'll look to pick up his spirits here today. Right now, his team tied 1-1. We enter the 30th minute of play. Bonomo's done a good job dropping deep, picking up the ball. Hasn't been able to find that through ball, though, to connect with a teammate yet. Stoltz with the tackle. No handball called. Manolo here pushing to his right foot. He's got two defenders in front of him. Guzman staying tight with him until Montano can come and help. He eventually does make the tackle, and Guzman looks to launch the counterattack. Juan Guzman, long-time Charlotte Eagle player. Spent 4 years there, including on the team that lost to Orlando in the 2013 USL Pro Championship. Guzman and James O'Connor facing off in that one as players. Williams goes down there. The goal scorer, McCabe, and he'll pick up a yellow card. McCabe, it looked like, went down with his studs showing a little bit. And our head referee, Grajeda, showing his first yellow card of the game. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. It's at Nike Soccer on Twitter or Nike.com/soccer. So Niall McCabe with all of the action so far in this game. He's gotten a goal and a yellow card. It's a pretty full plate. I'm sure he'd love to get another one, see if he can give his team a lead again. But Bonomo here trying to get New York their first lead of the game. Eventually tackled away by Shanoski. McClaws with the mistake. Opportunity to counter through Illich. Louisville, no rush to go anywhere. Keep their numbers a little bit compact. Illich coming infield now. He's got Fondi making the run off of DeFont. Cuts it back and cleared away by Pleva for a Louisville corner kick. You see Matt Fondi, though. That spin off of Mike DeFont, even though DeFont absolutely knows what's coming. And Fondi still able to find himself a couple acres of space. Coach Wolenek on the sideline yelling to his defenders a little bit, but he knows all the tricks of the trade as well as a striker. Ball played in at the near post. Obakop now, every player, outfield player on the field in one half. Obakop trying to get out of it, and he's able to draw a foul. James O'Connor not happy with the call. Marius Obakop twisting and turning in a sea of purple bodies. Eventually goes down, gets the call. New York faced off against Louisville in that 5-game road stand, which really was the turning point for this team in the season. They'd had some up and down results at home. They went on that road stand, ended up finishing it off with a 3-game unbeaten stand. Knocked off Louisville, got a win against St. Louis, as well as a draw on the road against FC Montreal. And that really was the moment that really was the span that turned it around for this team. A few games with USL only players or 1 or 2 loans here or there. And this team started to find its identity. Heffron here. Can he find a way to impact the attack? Akinyode floats across to the far side. Could see trying something similar to what led to the winning goal at Toronto FC 2 a couple weeks ago. Akinyode linking up with Bonomo. Louisville working it up the sideline. Akinyode intercepts. Bonomo now on the ball. Back to Obakop. Akinyode seems enjoying playing in his more natural center midfielder holding position rather than at left back where he's put in a lot of time. That's a stacked position that holding midfield role is on this team. Speedy Williams, one of those guys. Doesn't get that one on frame. We know his ability to shoot from distance. Showed it against Chelsea, as well as against Toronto FC 2, where he got the 2nd goal of the game. Just about 10 minutes left to play here in the first half. NewYorkRedBulls.com, David Goss bringing you the final home game of the regular season for New York Red Bulls 2 in their inaugural USL season. Don't forget this game, as are all other USL regular season and playoff games, are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today. It's a lot of games you're not going to want to miss coming up over the next week or 2, and then the playoffs begin. And it's going to be a feast of soccer. 4 first-round playoff games, 4 second-round playoff games, all in HD and free online. As we move to look to crown a USL champion, it has been a wild season. 3 players from USL playing in World Cup qualifying yesterday. 2 of them scoring goals. Charlotte Independence Meekshak Jerome scoring off a gorgeous free kick for Haiti. Seattle Sounders 2, striker Anderson scoring for St. Vincent and Grenadine in their victory over Aruba to try and face off against the U.S. Shot comes in here, punched back by Castano, but still alive here for Quinn. He plays it back into the box, and it's a foot too far for Illich. Quinn, a fantastic job, gets into the box, confusing Castano on that shot attempt, and Castano ended up punching it. Manolo Sanchez got tripped himself up, excuse me. Getting up a little bit slowly, but does get to his feet. Sanchez, the goal scorer so far in this game for New York. Well, the way this game has played out, you have to think there are more goals in it for both teams. Montano has been phenomenal defensively, just a bulldog attacking Manolo Sanchez. No call made, still inbounds, and he's making a run up the field. Montano lays it off to Fondi. Fondi looking to curl back up the field. Had a couple options, now pulls it back. What a run, though, there from Montano. Burke now making the run up from right back. Cleared away at the last second by DeFont. A lot of last-ditch defending done by these 2 center backs so far in this game for New York. Goal scorer McCabe pushing it up the field. Now, Louisville getting their numbers forward offensively. Long switch of the field to a wide open Burke. And a mistake there from McCabe. No pressure on them. Couldn't find the feet of Burke. The wingers in this game for both teams have been extremely effective. Obakop has taken on Burke a few times and gotten by him. We have a flag up behind the play. Illegal throwing called against Colin Heffron. Not a call you see very often in youth soccer, let alone the professional ranks. But a mental mistake there from Heffron. Having a tough first half. Only about 7 minutes left in it as well. Tariq Murad. So the two starting center backs for Louisville. The other one now Shanoski. Long ball up, Fondi battling there with Plua. Pleva the one who puts it in the path here of Quinn. Quinn back to Fondi. Fondi looks for the finish and chips it home. The all-time leading single-season goal scorer in USL history stretches that number one more here in the first half. Quinn puts him through. Castaño charging, makes himself big. And when you talk about confidence, this player, Matt Fondi, is playing at an all-time high. Doesn't show his cards too early, and at the last second, comes in and delicately chips it over the on-rushing goalkeeper to give Louisville City their second lead of this first half. The perfect time to score for Louisville. Matt Fondi now 22 goals this season, stretching that all-time lead by 2. Check at halftime, but I do believe Aiden Quinn there has picked up his first assist of the game. And both teams now not responding well to their own goals. Louisville scores, takes their foot off the gas. New York able to get some offensive pressure. They tie the game off Manolo Sanchez's goal. Then they take their foot off the gas. Louisville with a couple of good looks there in the last 2 minutes. And Matt Fondi, amazing that a guy who has just set the single season scoring record once again, finding space in the box. Long switch wide open here for McCabe. He's gonna have a chance to take Heffron one-on-one, early cross. Heffron gets it to the feet eventually of Manolo Sanchez. Both these teams attacking options off the bench. Chris Sonis and Daniel Bedoya on the bench for New York. Mason Deeds, on loan from the New York Red Bull Academy, coming up for this game. Captain of his U17 team, a center back. Should get a couple minutes here tonight. What would be his third appearance in professional soccer. Brian Saramagos had a couple of opportunities over the last few weeks to play with this side as well. Brian Burke works it perfectly here to a bend. Gaia Ben coming up, gets it to Burke. Burke one-on-one with Pleva. Won strongly in the end by DeFont. New York's going to have to find a way to shore up this defense a little bit. I said it, DeFont not getting a start last week with Carl Ouimet in the starting lineup. Only a few minutes left here in the first half. Cross comes all the way in. No one able to get a touch. Matt Fondi wants a push in the back called, but Pleva now flying up the field. Fondi the only one on his half of the field. Speedy Williams has space to shoot. The left-footed shot goes wide. Speedy Williams, the moment he gets anywhere within 30 yards of the goal, his head is up and he is looking to shoot. Left-footed, right-footed, it does not matter. He gets over that ball, is able to keep it under the crossbar. Just can't get it on frame in the end. Goes wide of Scott Goodwin's goal. Can't forget the big save Goodwin made on Marius Obakop to keep it 0-0 earlier in the half. As we approach the 45-minute mark, a minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time will be added. Stick around. At a halftime, we'll have first half highlights. And they are something you're going to want to see. 3 very well worked goals. 2 pretty finishes from Louisville. And the gorgeous cross from Sean McClaws to open up Manolo Sanchez for New York's lone goal. As we now enter our 1 minute of stoppage time here on NewYorkRedBulls.com. The final home game of the inaugural regular USL season for New York Red Bulls 2. Facing off against a fellow newcomer, Louisville City. The Sacramento Republic FC of 2015, you have to say it. Conrad Pleva now who had a goal in the first matchup between these two teams. And Williams once again fakes the first shot on his right foot. Finds the feet of Bonomo. He falls to the ground. No call made. 30 seconds left here in the first half. Pleva now playing as a center mid. Tries to spray it wide. Intercepted easily by Illich. Fondi here will try and hold it up. He does well to keep possession for his team. Illich now filling in for him down the middle. Looking to catch this New York team in transition. McCabe lays it off. Burke, chance to cross. Hits off the body of Pleva and goes down to Castaño's hands. Louisville City, an argument there for handball as we finish up what has been a phenomenal first half of action. Louisville City FC leading New York Red Bulls 2-1 off the 22nd goal of the season by the all-time single-season USL goal-scoring leader, Matt Fondi. We'll be back here on NewYorkRedBulls.com, as I said. First half highlights and second half action coming up in just a few minutes. David Goss back here on NewYorkRedBulls.com, and here's your first half highlights. Marius Obakop, the feed from Stefano Bonomo, the biggest save of the first half made by Scott Goodwin. Didn't have a lot of work to do, although he did give up a goal. Brian Burke was very good coming up from his right back spot. Illich there looking for his second goal of the season, and a big save from Castano. But here's the opening goal. Niall McCabe, and there is nothing Castano can do about that one. Puts his toe down and drills it to the far post to give his team a 1-0 lead. New York responded, though, and Manolo Sanchez, his second goal in a week, tapping it in there at the far post. The Clemson alumni gets his team on the scoreboard, and then Matt Fondy continues to push that record as far as he can. 22 goals, had a hat trick on Wednesday against the Harrisburg City Islanders. We're back out here for second half action. Looks like so far one change for New York. Chris Sonis coming in here, looks like in place of Marius Obakop at halftime. For Louisville City, I don't spot any changes yet. I'll let you know if we get any sort of confirmation on that. You'd expect Stefano Bonomo will pinch out wide in place of Obakop, and Chris Sonis will go up top at center forward. Obakop not on the bench right now, might be a little bit of an injury. I'll let you know if we get any sort of information. New York's going to have to do better defensively, especially how they deal with Matt Fondy. Going to have to be focused on making sure a body is constantly around the elite goal scorer. New York coming out here, working the ball around the field. Chris Sonis, the Southern New Hampshire University all-time leading goal scorer in Division II history. His first season here with New York. Ball over the top from Williams. Too far for Bonomo. At halftime, bounced around the scoreboard a little bit on USLsoccer.com. A couple of big results so far today. Colorado Springs getting a victory out west over the Portland Timbers 2. In the East, Rochester and Richmond drawing 1-1. So New York, if they could get any sort of result, would get a little bit more space between them and the Kickers. Charleston drawing Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh dropping crucial points, Charleston as well, and Charlotte. Charlotte could have taken advantage, put some breathing space between them and Pittsburgh for the last playoff spot. They draw the Wilmington Hammerheads 2-2. So a lot of action going on in the Eastern Conference here today. And most likely there won't be any sort of shift in the standings. Sonis losing possession there. Williams tripped up from behind by Matano and taken down. Pittsburgh and Charlotte will stay in 7th and 6th. Charleston and Richmond will stay in 5th and 4th place as Manolo Sanchez's cross eludes the defenders. Unfortunately, his teammates as well. Heffron trying to keep it in. Akinyode and Fondy collide. It goes out for a New York throw-in. So New York's safe right now at 3rd place. They won't move after today. You see the highlight here, Manolo Sanchez puts it on a plouter to that far post. Chris Sonis not able to get there. But New York could open up what would be a huge lead with 2 games left to play. If they could get a win here, they'd get 3-point cushion on both those teams for at least a first-round home field game. Even a draw here against Louisville would put them in the driver's seat with 2 games to play, one against FC Montreal and one against that dangerous Rochester Rhinos team. Another shutout for Brandon Miller, I believe, setting the single season record for shutouts by a goalkeeper today. Does the Rhinos goalie. We thank you all for joining us here. NewYorkRedBulls.com. What's turning out to be a gorgeous Labor Day weekend, whether you're in the tri-state area or Kentucky or anywhere else in the country enjoying this. It's been a very entertaining matchup. Manolo Sanchez called offsides. You can hear DeFont marshaling that back line. He matches his team up. Goodwin goes long. DeFont now in a battle with Fondi over their heads and out to Castano. New York doesn't have to be in a rush, but a result here would be huge. As I said, going through that scoreboard, an opportunity with a little bit of a later game also to see those results go down. Sanas can't shield his defender. Illich will keep it in. Leyva patiently. Passes exchanged between the 2 Seton Hall teammates from a year ago. Now playing in the New York Red Bulls system, both from the academy. Believe New York's calling for a handball there on Montano. I didn't see it from up here. He also had no pressure on him, so it would have been a terrible mistake if he did. James O'Connor back out on the sideline. You got to think he's happy with what he's seen. Won a USL championship with Orlando City, as well as setting a lot of records. Most goals scored, least goals conceded, and highest point total in a USL single season 2013, as they won everything there was to be won before moving on to Major League Soccer. Current Orlando City star Kaká was in the house today, getting about 20 minutes of action for Brazil, and then honestly doing every single interview asked of him. You should have seen the media scrum downstairs for the Brazilian national team. Was a sight to behold. Lights and cameras everywhere. Sanas not able to close on Goodwin quick enough. New York starting to press a little bit higher. This is where they create opportunities for themselves. Coach Wolenek happy to allow the opposing teams to have possession, to use that high press, that Jesse Marsh Red Bull style, to force mistakes and turn them into offensive opportunities in the attacking third. McLaws here has the assist, along with Bonomo on the 1 goal. Akinyode putting that one too far in front of Sanchez, now trying to make up for his mistake. Abend able to get it to McCabe. Fondi gets it back to McCabe. Heffron pokes it away. Colin Heffron has to come out here and have a strong second half. Akinyode with the long ball for Bonomo and just a bit too far. head over to One's in Metro if you get the chance. Read a feature, Olo Akanyori, written by Aaron Bauer, that I highly recommend. And do not forget to go to uslsoccer.com. That's the place to find all your scores, news, interactive content. There was a phenomenal feature put up there about the three men chasing Kevin Molino a week ago. Highly recommend heading over there. Some really good articles to read. Some great stories about some different players around the league. So many good young players right now. Multiple players, I said, in World Cup qualifying around the world and international call-ups. A lot of great young players who have bright futures, who are going to be the center of conversation around U.S. soccer, CONCACAF. See, former USL players making a difference around the world already. Glenn Murray just transferred out of Crystal Palace. He remains in the Premier League. Former Charleston Battery player. Chris Ramsey, former Charleston Battery coach, currently the head coach at QPR in the English Championship. Scott Goodwin giving a couple directions to his back line. As Manolo Sanchez gets a little bit of treatment and is allowed back on the field. Taken short by New York. Leo Stoltz here has space. Can't get the cross away. Blocked away by Illich. Well done by Illich. Can Louisville counter the other way? Stoltz is trying to bring him down, has a hand of his jersey. And you will see a yellow card here, first of the game for New York. This one's starting to get chippy. You don't want anything bad to happen to anyone, but as a fan of this game, you gotta love these two teams. Brand new, facing off for the second time ever. Great skill and quality on both sides. Potential playoff matchup coming. A lot of good young professionals. And that little bit of edge now. So Leo Stoltz puts his name in the book. Fonde to run on here. Is able to keep it in bounds. Eventually going out for a New York goal kick. Become a fan of the USL on Facebook. Become a league insider. You can win some trivia as well. Not my trivia, but someone else's. New York Red Bulls 2 trailing on 2 first-half goals by Louisville City. Matt Fonde, his 22nd of the season. The difference right now as we approach the 57th minute. About half an hour, a little bit more for New York to make a difference. Manolo Sanchez able to turn his man. McLaws here and Montano. Out on McLaws. Stoltz losing possession. Illich with the clearance, but dangerously across the field. McLaws trying to beat his man. He gets by one. Bonomo now opening up space. Sanas lays it in the path. Heffron didn't continue his run. Scott Goodwin read that one from the start and got out to snuff it out. Fonde to Illich, who was trying the creative through ball. You don't normally see bicycle kick through ball. But this is a Louisville City team that has been emboldened by their coach, allowed to go out there, take risks, try new things, open up the game offensively. And it's led to an extremely successful first season. Bonomo's offsides. Our assistant referee had his flag up. Stefano Bonomo found a little bit of space in the box, but went just a step too early. Started this game at center forward, pushed out wide left at halftime in place of Marius Obakop. Options on the bench for New York now. 4 substitutions left for them. Rafael Diaz, the backup goalkeeper. Jamie Thomas, Mason Deeds, Victor Monsalves, Daniel Bedoya, Alex Clay. Chris Sonis has already entered. They are trailing. You have to think Bedoya can find a way to get himself into this game. Had a streak of 3 straight goals or assists in games, including setting up Franklin Castellanos' extra time winner against St. Louis FC at home. Pleva gets it to Bonomo. That one runs there on McCabe. Don't forget, USL Soccer, as well as NewYorkRedBulls.com, your source for New York Red Bull 2 news. As this first season comes down the stretch. This team has been so important so far this year, developing young players, getting playing time to a lot of players who would have lost connection with the club, as well as preparing players to play with the first team like we saw with Sean Davis, Anatola Bong, Connor Lade. Sonis with the cross. Bonomo coming in, flicked away by Louisville. McCabe looking to counter. It looks like Louisville might be preparing to make their first substitution. It looks like Sean Reynolds might be the one to come off the bench. Illich lays it off. Montano with the cross. And it finds Conrad Pleva. Really had a choice of options there. No pressure on him. Sanchez now looking to counter. Louisville has numbers back, handled well by Juan Guzman. No way he can get called for a foul. Steps in front at the right moment. And able to win that one. Sean Reynolds getting ready to come on. Looks like it'll be in place of Aiden Quinn. Handball there on Bonomo, not called. Stoltz brings it down. Sonis now. 2 players sliding in from either side. No call made. Williams here. Keeps it alive. Akinyote bringing up the play now. Akinyote with a long strike. And into the arms of Scott Goodwin. Daniel Bedoya now has his jersey on. He's going to come in. You see where these two teams stand. Louisville City leading 2-1. Set to bring on a defender. On the flip side, New York trailing 2-1. Set to bring on one of their top creative players. Just south of half an hour left here at Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. David Goss for NewYorkRedBulls.com. The last home game of the regular season for New York. Trailing 2-1. If they can get any sort of result, they will take lone possession of 3rd place in the Eastern Conference, put themselves in the driver's seat for a home game. But would most likely be against either Charlotte or Pittsburgh, but still, that one is murky. Confirmation there. Reynolds coming on for Quinn. See if he goes into midfield, or it looks like he's pointing. So it looks like Tarek Murad will check in at holding midfield, and Sean Reynolds will go back and partner Shanoski in center back. But we'll see. Murad, confused really, ran up to midfield, was told by the coaches not to, went back to the center back. And right now, as Louisville's preparing to take their free kick, those two players talking to each other. Murad not sure what position he should be playing. Opportunity, though, here with this set piece to figure it out. Manolo Sanchez now with the goal, coming off in place of Daniel Bedoya. The offensive substitution late in the game, Manolo Sanchez taking a couple physical hits as well, but a big one for him, gets his 4th goal of the season. Currently tied for 2nd place on the team, along with Leo Stoltz. Anatolo Bong played about 3 games for this team, still one of the leading goal scorers. A huge presence he was. Bedoya turns away from space. Good turn there from Bonomo. Coming in field, Bedoya now in front of him, touches it in front of Reynolds. Hand up for offsides, no call made, but Louisville makes the interception. Ben goes to ground. Williams up to Bedoya, who finds another pocket of space. Good 1-2. Now Bonomo, his touch just a bit too long off the first touch. It's Ibrahim Sakagia gets himself a touch. One of the assistant coaches under John Wolenek. John Wolenek absolutely gets the tip of the hat in his first season as a head coach. Grajeda getting himself involved, but Wolenek has dealt with lineup changes over and over. Not being sure who's going to be in the team, who's fit. Game against Chelsea and then a USL game that weekend. US Open Cup play, a lot of different variables to deal with, and yet this team looks on course to clinch the playoffs. Of the 3 MLS affiliates in the Eastern Conference, they will be the only one to do so. They've been in the playoff top 6 the entire season. Of course, some of that has to do with games played and games in hand, but still, they started the season with 4 points at home, a draw against Rochester, a win against Toronto FC 2, and they have continued that. Looks like Seattle Sounders 2 and LA Galaxy 2 will make the playoffs in the Western Conference. Real Monarchs, Vancouver Whitecaps FC 2 will not be as lucky. Akinyote able to keep possession. Poor pass there from Defont. Fondy looking for the counter, and Defont collides with him, sends him to the ground, and a free kick coming here in a dangerous area for Louisville City. Defont trying to make up for his mistake on that pass. He was not able to. New York Red Bulls return home to MLS action next Friday as Chicago Fire come to RBA. For tickets and more information, log on to NewYorkRedBulls.com or call 1-877-727-6223. That's 1-877-727-6223. And don't forget to stay on NewYorkRedBulls.com. It's New York Red Bulls 2. If they do host a playoff game, tickets will be available there. You can follow New York Red Bulls 2 on Twitter or Facebook as well for all of your New York Red Bulls action. Castano getting ready for this one. McCabe, the only one standing over it with the right foot, dead in the middle, about 27 yards away. So perfect position for McCabe to not have to get it up and over the wall too quickly. He can choose either side. Castano has his wall to his own right. McCabe gets it over, hits the crossbar. A phenomenal free kick there for McCabe. Can't sneak it under the crossbar. A foul called off the rebound, and Santiago Castaño does just enough to keep this game close. I believe Castaño here, McCabe, great technique, and he bangs it off the crossbar. Castaño doesn't get a touch to it. McCabe will see that one in his dreams tonight, just inches away. Bonomo here has played well in his position. Scott Goodwin equal to the task. Stefano Bonomo finding the game here in the second half as he starts to float around the field. Finds a good pocket of space behind the center midfielders. But the top of the box, the left-footed strike, low and hard, and Scott Goodwin able to push it wide. Corner kick coming. Grajeda looking to deal with any sort of issues early on. Defont, Akinyode, and Pleva up in the box. Stoltz's service at the near post flicked on. Bedoya is going to have room if he could get a shot away. Cuts back, tries to go by one, goes to ground, and he now gets the free kick called. Great position here for New York. Immediately about 5 players walk over to stake their claim on this one. Daniel Bedoya showing you that silky touch that he has. Just about 20 minutes left to play in regular time here at Red Bull Arena. Chances are gonna start to get fewer and fewer for New York. Bedoya and Leo Stoltz standing over this one. You gotta find a way to let Speedy Williams hit this shot. And now he's lining it up on his right foot. Bedoya's already lined it up as well. Leo Stoltz now walking in between the two of them to talk. Williams has shown he is a sniper from outside the box. Hasn't really taken set pieces, though. Goodwin lines up his wall. He's got 7 in the wall here. Louisville City ready if a touch comes as well. Bedoya goes over the box and in! A phenomenal free kick for Daniel Bedoya off the bench. He ties it up. Curls it into the corner, over the wall. Nothing Scott Goodwin can do about that one. Up over the wall, dips under the crossbar. We just saw McCabe on the other side with the free kick that hit the crossbar. Daniel Bedoya comes back the other way, one-ups him, curls it beautifully in to the back of the net. New York Red Bulls, too, have drawn even for the second time here tonight with Louisville City FC 1-1. Said Daniel Bedoya. You see him there waving his hands, trying to keep the energy high. His 3rd goal of the season. And off that, a substitution for Louisville City. Illich coming out. And it looks like Nate Pollock coming in. What a strike from Daniel Bedoya. That one will be talked about on @USL on Twitter. Go to @USL on Twitter, become a league insider, join club conversations, and have a chance at exclusive giveaways. That's @USL on Twitter. That's your place to watch. They do a great job of putting up all of the highlights going on around the league. Nick Murray and his team at the communications digital department at USL, covering the league from coast to coast and country to country. 3 Canadian teams in the squad, in the league. Stoltz now. Can New York take their first lead of the game? Niall McCabe got us started in the first half. Manolo Sanchez even. Matt Fondy continued to set records with his second goal, with the second goal of the game for Louisville City in the first half. And Daniel Bedoya with a moment of excellence, a slice of perfection here in the second half to bring his team level once again. Is there a winner here for either of these teams? For Louisville City, a draw would clinch second place. For New York, it would push them into sole possession of third place, but still leave them only 1 point ahead. Excuse me, my math has been wrong. It would bring them back into third place. They have the tiebreaker over Charleston and Richmond, who both drew today and therefore moved to 40 points on the season. I knew there'd be goals in this game. 4 so far. Get a sense, though, with the attacking quality on display that there might be one more. Sean Reynolds, who came off the bench at center back. Montano, great offensively in the first half. Hasn't had much room here in the second half, but he gets it up the field to McCabe. McCabe's shot or cross cleared away there by Pleva. What a ball from Montano. Puts it on a plate. And Niall McCabe shows you the quality he has. Touching it to himself and getting the shot away. Corner kick coming up here for Montano. Left-footed service comes in. Castano gets a touch. He goes to ground. Still alive for Louisville. McCabe heads it back in. Pleva able to clear. No one up the field for New York to pressure. Bedoya now putting on some late pressure to Reynolds. And then Burke. Louisville able to work out of it. A bend here. Was a presence in the first half. We've seen both teams respond poorly to their own goals scored. Louisville took their foot off the gas, then New York did. New York has controlled the second half offensively. Louisville has that lead, though. Let's see if Louisville turns it back up here to look for the winner. No foul called there as Fondi goes to ground. Williams up the line to Bedoya. Bedoya flicks it by one. Gets it to the feet of Tsanis. Tsanis has Bonomo coming up the far side. Otherwise, not much help. Tackled away in the end by Guzman and off Louisville City as Reynolds can't react and it goes out of bounds. Burke and Montano were dangerous offensively in the first half, flying up from their fullback positions. Just haven't had the opportunity in the second half to do it. Heffron goes to the ground. Slid into that one, looked to get up, and then grabbed at something over there. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. That's at Nike Soccer on Twitter or Nike.com/soccer. Daniel Bedoya, his third goal of the season. You got to say the nicest of the three. May not be the nicest goal of the game. We've seen some beauties. Matt Fondi chipping Castano. McCabe's blast to the far post, but that shot from Bedoya, something special. Played a year at St. John's. We're bouncing around a little bit and eventually coming back to his home area and finding some time here this year with New York Red Bulls too. It'll be interesting to see what happens after this season. These players, how long players tend to stick around in this club, how much of an identity they can build. As McClaws heads that one away. How many new pieces will come in. Bedoya had Bonomo in space, makes the mistake. Louisville now on the ball. Be interesting after a whole new draft class for New York. Plus some of their college players, you have to think. Kyle Zajac making his Georgetown debut this weekend. Marcelo Borges playing for Michigan in their loss to Creighton. So he made his regular season debut as a sub. Juan Sanchez and Derek Etienne, we already said, faced off. Brandon Allen and Aaron Basulovic, potential homegrown players, down at Georgetown as well, along with Ethan Lochner. A lot of New York Red Bull talent around the country as Pollock shows his talent. McCabe, the goal scorer, out wide here, and that one blocked by Heffron. Seems to be fine after going down to the ground. Louisville City traveling to Charleston in their next game to take on the Charleston Battery September 12th, 7:30 p.m. And they finish off the season against a Midwest rival in St. Louis FC, another new squad. It's been fun to watch in the Eastern Conference. The USL royalty, the old guards of the Richmond Kickers, Charleston Battery, Rochester Rhinos, as they face off against a lot of new and exciting clubs. Kind of showing everyone how it's done. Rochester has led from the front the entire season. Charleston was the team pushing Rochester early on. They weren't able to get a victory head-to-head and then started to fall off as Louisville picked it up. Richmond has had some injury problems here or there, but they've still maintain their playoff position, and you know those clubs going into the playoffs have the experience to get playoff wins, to make runs like Harrisburg did last year as the last seed in the playoffs and eventually making it all the way to the championship as a representative of the Eastern Conference. Rochester, the best team defensively in the league, but because of that, they don't score a lot of goals, and I think some teams will see it as potentially an opportunity for them to cause an upset if they can get the opening goal against them. All these playoff games, as well as regular season, are available live, free, and in HD on YouTube. Connect with the USL YouTube channel today. Or, like these girls, you can come out to the games. NewYorkRedBulls.com. If the New York Red Bulls, too, host a playoff game, tickets will be available there. Daniel Bedoya, the goal-scoring hero in this one, loosening himself up a little bit. Louisville, a little bit treatment on the far side. Looks like Matt Fondy, the one on the ground, although he looks to be okay now as he gets up and gets a little bit of water. New York substitutes going through the paces now. Big substitution coming here for Louisville City. So our goal scorer, McCabe, the opening goal of the game, his second of the season, comes out. And Kadeem Dekers coming in. Dekers, 6 goals, 2 assists, the Rosedale, New York native. Dekers coming on now. So we get restarted. You got to think at least 4 minutes of stoppage time here, as that injury, stoppage, and substitution took about 2-3 minutes, plus a goal here in the second half. So plenty of time left for either of these teams to find a winner. Heffron making the run here. Shanoski able to guide it into Goodwin. Murad hasn't had a lot of touches so far in that holding midfield position. He moved to at on the substitution from Reynolds. Bonomo battling there, and Sanas comes over to help and keep possession. Heffron there, doesn't have a teammate though, the turnover. Fondi looking to launch the counter. Pollock cuts back on his right foot, takes the shot, saved by Castagno, the follow-up Fondi, and blocked away. Sean McClaws, the recovering defender, able to keep Matt Fondi from his second goal of the game. Pollock, the substitute, cuts back on his right foot, has plenty of time. Castagno pushes it wide, potentially not wide enough though. Fondi following that one up, and you know he's going to put it on frame, a goal scorer of his quality. Sean McClaws gets his body in the way. Montano here. Castagno goes up and makes the big save. Body's in front of him as he tries to distribute. Daniel Bedoya coming up the field. Victor Manosalves preparing to come on here. Another creative attacking midfielder. See if he comes on for Stoltz or Bonomo, or if Coach Wolenek takes a little bit of a risk and takes off a more defensive player. Handball called there against Montano. Leo Stoltz and McClaws over it. The body's coming forward. Akinyode, Pleva and Defont entering the box. Williams sitting on top. Bonomo and Sanas already in there. Leo Stoltz to take. He gets his message from the sideline. Floated in. Akinyode heads it down and in. Bolu Akinyode. And he slides to the corner flag as his substitutes and teammates surround him. A monster header from Akinyode. He's got an inch of space to close on it. Leo Stoltz floats it up there on a plate. Akinyode slams it down into the ground, causing it to bounce up off of Scott Goodwin's hands and into the corner as the New York Red Bulls 2 turn around a 2-1 deficit at halftime and push forward. Currently leading now 3-2 and staying in the chase for second place in the Eastern Conference. Bolu Akinyode, his first goal of his professional soccer career, number 93. Defensively has held it down all game alongside Speedy Williams. I said it earlier, had a little bit of an upset last night at his alumni as he watched Seton Hall fall to a late goal. Could he turn it around for himself today? And boy, did he. A towering header late here in the second half. New York Red Bulls 2 take their first lead of the game and try and post a 2-0 record against Louisville City this season. So Leo Stoltz coming off. He passes the armband over to Mike Defont. Victor Manosalves will go in. You'd think like-for-like replacement at that attacking midfield role. Manosalves started the season brightly, has struggled with injuries. Hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. It could be a player that could be a difference maker for this team. Has that bit of flair. Mistake here, Bonomo picks it up. He's got some runners, tries to go by Reynolds himself. Can't get the cross in. Montano comes away with it. Guides it out of bounds and out for a corner kick. Bonomo not happy with himself. Had Sanas streaking immediately off the turnover. Missed him there. Had to keep pushing. The crowd behind the goal, loving the action so far. 2 gigantic goals for this New York Red Bulls 2 team in what could be one of their biggest victories of the season. Bedoya now flashing in. Another corner kick won for New York. New York in no rush now. As we approach the 89th minute of action. We haven't gotten any sort of word yet on how much extra time there'll be. McClaw's back to Pleva. Over the head of Bonomo. DeCurs hasn't gotten any touches since coming in the game. He came in for James O'Connor to potentially give him a game winner. Now they're looking for a last-ditch goal to get themselves a road draw. One of the best road teams in the league is Louisville City. And they played well here today, taking 2 leads against New York. But they haven't been able to bring the energy here in the second half. New York, from the moment they kicked off at halftime, knocking the ball around faster in the second half. A lot of movement off the ball. And some key substitutions from Coach John Wolonek, who has had a phenomenal first season. Speedy Williams, the one down now. Maybe holding his shoulder. Jamie Thomas getting ready to come on. Swiss Army knife player, could play at fullback, outside midfield, or defensive midfield. Broken clock is right twice a week. I guessed it would be about 4 minutes of stoppage time, and it is. We have just started it. A minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time, but Williams going down with the injury here. So it could be even more time added to this one by our head official, Hilario Grajeda. Taken short. Bedoya and McClaws. Monsalves making the run. Montaro, the interception, and out for another corner kick. New York looking to milk every second that they can. Speedy Williams ready to come back on. Williams out of Robert Morris, signed mid-season with New York. Native of Jamaica. His real name Devin Williams. Not actually that fast, he says. Speedy, his father's nickname, passed on to him. So we get that substitution. Jamie Thomas will come in for Colin Heffron. Thomas will go in at, you'd have to think, left back. Heffron beaten on the first goal by McCabe, but recovered from that. It's one of the things these coaches love to look for. How do players react to different situations? How do they learn and develop as the game goes along? Heffron definitely gets an A+ on that one here tonight. The Dartmouth grad, Long Island native. Monsalves winning another corner kick there off of Pollock. They're asking for 10 yards. There is a line down at the 10-yard marker, so it's not much of a mystery. Throw in now for New York. We've played just over 2 minutes, the minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time. Louisville City looking to get out of their own half. This deflection down in the box. Reynolds finally able to clear, but only out of bounds. New York will be happy with that one. Not in a rush to get it back into play is Marius Obacop. Opening goal here tonight from Niall McCabe, his first of the season. Manolo Sanchez gets his 4th, second of the week to tie it up in the first half. Matt Fondy, no surprise, gets himself a goal, coming off a hat trick against Harrisburg City in the midweek. But New York has fought back here in the second half. A moment of brilliance from Daniel Bedoya on a direct free kick, curled into the top corner in the 79th minute to tie it up. And then Boloak and Yode, a towering header off Leo Stoltz's service. His first professional soccer goal gets his team the lead that they're now looking to see out. We've played 3 minutes of stoppage time so far. Hilario Grajeda has the clock at the center circle. This gives New York, while small, slight hope of locking up a potential first-round bye and home field advantage in the Eastern Conference semifinals in USL. Louisville City already clinched a playoff spot. Yode, mistake on the pass back there to Williams. Fondy with the counter. We've played 4 minutes of stoppage time. This could be the last chance. Deker's cross cleared away by DeFont. Bonomo coming back to help defensively. Pollock goes to ground and no call made. Hilario Grajeda, though, holding up play. He'll show a yellow card. Doesn't like either for a dive or for something said. Unfortunately, I cannot hear from up here. Matt Fondy now puts DeFont on his back. Big switch of the field by Fondy. Burke floats across in, bodies in the box for Louisville City. DeFont clears away, not far enough. De Cruz with the volley and over the top. And that will be it. It ended up being 5 minutes of stoppage time, but it didn't matter. Santiago Castaño backstops his team to a massive victory as the New York Red Bulls 2 trail twice to Louisville City and come back and get the win. Niall McCabe got it started here with his third goal of the season. New York responded through Manolo Sanchez, his second goal of the week, drawing his team level at 1-1. The energy you could see from him as these players juiced up after meeting Brazil and Kaká beforehand, and Matt Fondy showing why he is the elite goal scorer in USL. Chips that one oh so carefully, and Daniel Bedoya, the goal of the night. The direct free kick, curls it over the top of the box. In the fight to earn some starting minutes is he. Castaño made the big save. Sean McClaws, the block on Fondy to keep it at 2-2. And then Bolo Akinyode thunders that header down into the ground, up off Scott Goodwin's glove, and into that near post. He slides into the corner. The former Nigerian youth international gets himself his first career professional soccer goal and gets the New York Red Bulls 2 a win in their final regular season home game of this USL season. Don't forget, Friday night here, September 11th, 7 p.m., New York Red Bulls versus Chicago Fire. Go to NewYorkRedBulls.com to look for tickets. For everyone out there who has joined us on this inaugural USL season, we hope you've enjoyed our broadcast. We've loved bringing them to you. This team has been exciting and fun to watch throughout as Coach Wolenek walks off the field laughing. If the New York Red Bulls 2 do host a playoff game, those tickets will be available on NewYorkRedBulls.com, so follow at NYRB2 for all your updates. For everyone here at New York Red Bulls and for me, David Goss, thank you so much for joining us this season, and have a great Labor Day weekend.